Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode and edition of the Mojo Market Report, coming to you live here from Chop Studios. It is Monday, May the 8th, 2023. And, of course, Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, bringing you all the latest news and action around the world of the NBA and the NFL and the MLB and everything that Mojo has to offer. But first and foremost, how was your weekend, dude? You look like you got a little sun.
I did. I was at my nephew's flag football game all morning. There was 3 of them, and there's like 2 hours in between. It was like one of those
all-day
long
affair.
days at St. John Vianney. There was actually 2 fields. We had to travel in between. It reminded me of back in the day when I used to have to do this stuff. Very proud of my nephews. They got their asses beat thoroughly in 3 games, but my nephews each scored touchdowns.
All right. So if they had them on if they were on the Mojo
their
app,
stock went up.
And
my one nephew, the oldest one, he's playing in a league where he's a freshman, and he's playing in a league where it's 14.
How is he a freshman already?
14. I know.
That's insane.
14 to 17, and he scored a touchdown. By far the smallest kid out there, showing up.
A la Deuce Vaughn,
and I'll
running
say
back
this
for the
too.
Cowboys.
I'll say this too. They're playing in a town that's not their own, so they don't know anybody. So they're going there. He's the smallest and the youngest, and he showed up. So I got to give credit where it's due. Proud of my nephews, yes.
I got to channel my inner Bob Shepard over the weekend. That was
Aiden
fun.
and Carl, by the way. They aren't the older and the younger. Aiden and Carl.
Got it. Oh, the Breakers, too.
Yes.
Yeah, I know those guys. I got to channel my inner Bob Shepard yesterday. I got to call.
Bro, that shit was dope.
That was pretty cool, man. Very cool experience. Very high intensity environment. Like, it's not like, hey, just read the lineups. It's like, hey, Dave, can you fit in these 48 sponsors in 34 seconds? And I'm like, sure can. And I would just like do it. But yeah, it was very cool. I got to do the PA announcing for the Somerset Patriots, which are the Yankees AA affiliate.
So you're not going to mention what else you had to do?
What else did I have to do?
I think we should do it again.
No. What?
Dave had a solo act.
What?
Take.
Yeah. So that was we shouldn't do it again. I was thrown at me at the very last second. They're like, hey, by the way, 7th inning stretch, you got to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and I was like, oh,
we do have behind the scenes footage courtesy of Papa G.
I did not see it yet, and
I did not either.
I would probably hope that he burns it. But anyway, there was sports to be played over the weekend. The NBA obviously is red hot right now in the playoffs. And let me tell you something. One, I'm not in the best of moods via the Knicks, who did not show up on Saturday afternoon. But you kind of had that feeling going into that game, considering the fact that Jimmy Butler was coming back after like 5 days rest, considering he didn't play in game 2. So you kind of figured that they would, play a little better, right? And more inspired basketball, and they did. But my gripe is with the Knicks. I think the Knicks just missed shots. They just weren't a cohesive unit like they've been. The crowd got to them. It was just, I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
They had like 4 days to sit there and think about Jimmy Butler waving at the MSG
Right.
fans.
It was like a mind game.
I think instead of them saying, you know what, who does he think they were like,
yeah, like
Jimmy Butler's
Jimmy Butler's going to go off.
We have no answers.
And that was Saturday. So before we got to Saturday, though, a big win by the Boston Celtics, 114-102 on Friday on Cinco de Mayo on that night. But then they come back, and let me tell you something. Then James Harden, Jimmy Harden, he goes off yesterday. He has himself a series already where we kind of figured like if this team was going to stay in it, along with Embiid, who, by the way, got his MVP award ceremony speech thing, which was awesome. His son ran onto the court like unannounced. It was one of those. You got to be a dad to figure it out. No, you don't. You just have to have a heart, really. And to see that all develop was pretty cool. But that series is getting interesting as well, as we know that went down yesterday. Now it's tied 2-2. So you're looking at Boston and Philadelphia based off of how the first 4 games were played. Now it's officially a best-of-3 series. Do you lean just like who got the home court, or do you lean like Harden is playing at an all-world level right now? Does Boston have an answer for it come next game, which, by the way, goes down Tuesday night in Boston?
Yeah, I mean, clearly there is an advantage for the Celtics being that there's the home court. In the final 3 games of what could be one of the 2 teams' seasons, you give it to the home team because I thought Boston had the edge going into it, and I expected this series to go 7. But when you're thinking a series is going to go 7, it's a slight edge. Anyone can win that one game, but I expected to go 7. I think Boston will take care of home court. Philly will be desperate. going to get a great Game 7 out of these two. That's my prediction. And I'll go with the Celtics, even though I don't want them to win. I think I've had them beating Philly all year. I'm not going to change up now based on – there's really nothing that you could go based on the first 2 games or the first 4 games. They've split. Each team has answers. They were even able to win without Embiid in the one game.
Mm-hmm, they were.
So it's hard to call. This is going to be a very even match series down the stretch.
So on Saturday, we also witnessed a absolute beatdown when it comes to the Lakers and the Warriors series. They have their game again tonight. Lakers up 2-1. This past Saturday, the Lakers absolutely crushed them. 3 players in their starting 5 over 20 points. We're talking about AD, obviously, LeBron James, and D'Angelo Russell. We talked about that going into the playoffs. When these guys are on the court, at the same time, they're kind of untouchable, and they beat the brakes off the Warriors. Now, what do the Warriors got to do to make this a series? Because if you go down 3-1 to LeBron James and the Lakers, I'm not like ruling it out as a possibility that they can come back and win, but that's a hard, steep mountain to climb. What do the Warriors got to do besides hit their shots?
Yeah, that's
all right. Hit their shots.
They got to hit their shots. The Warriors live and die by their shooting percentage. If they're able to shoot the lights out, you can't beat them. There is no answers for them.
That's true.
You can, but you have to really play really well offensively to keep up with that. The Lakers, I don't think, have the firepower to keep up if the Warriors get hot.
Right.
That's the problem with a team that's relying on shooting threes. Although Golden State, you can't say that they're just shooting threes. They have guys that take it to the rack. Jordan Poole, Wiggins.
Sure.
Even Steph has points in the paint, but they're just. I don't think that they have the size. I don't think that they really have the youth. The youths, and it's LeBron. LeBron's on a mission right now. How could you really deny LeBron? The guy's.
It's LeBron James in year 20 is doing his thing. Like, it's just incredible.
I'm not going to say the series.
Did you by any chance see the valuation of Bronny right now? What he's getting in NIL deals?
Yeah, good for him.
He committed to USC, by the way, so he's going to be playing basketball over there. But I think he's in like the $5-6 million range. $5-6 million for a kid who hasn't played college ball yet.
I would say that's modest.
God!
I mean,
what did I do wrong in my life?
For starters,
my kids are all playing sports.
For starters, you
care.
were not born LeBron James' child. That's number one.
I was just as good, if not better, and I quit because I couldn't jump.
USC.
Get this white out.
You had recruits.
I did. I had offers.
Rec games in 8th grade.
Sick.
Because when did you quit?
I quit basketball. I quit 7th grade, 8th grade. Yeah, I realized I wasn't going to be able to compete with the talent that was around there. God didn't give me the ability to jump.
I shifted gears early.
Basketball-wise,
I
was
played
out.
basketball up until 8th grade.
We played basketball for. We were warming up in a charity game.
I played basketball up until 8th grade, but I understood by like
your role. You knew your role.
By like 5th grade that
not everybody could be Jason Williams.
I'm going to give myself my flowers. I excelled in sports as a child.
Sure.
I excelled in basketball as a younger child, and then things took a turn once I realized I might be a wrestler in winter.
Yeah, height.
I might have to do
when
that.
it came to height and jumping ability, it went
school
down. So yeah, you became a wrestler, and I just kind of ate Elio's pizza. But in any event, that's that series. Speaking of fighting and wrestling and chippiness, the other series that we're really, really paying attention to is now the one that was 2-0 and is now 2-2. The Phoenix Suns have battled back. Now, yesterday, little interesting development. The Joker might be in some hot water. I don't know, just based off watching the video over and over again and trying to figure out, who's in the wrong here, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it's professional sports. It's basketball. It's heat of the moment. The ball goes out of bounds. It lands in the Phoenix Suns owner's hands. So Joker's just going to get the ball. Like, give me the ball, man. It's ours. And it flips into the crowd, right? And then he gives him the old, right? And the Suns owner flops back. But the contact was made, man. So what are we thinking?
I'm saying suspend the Suns owner.
Or just get him off the court. Like,
bro, how about this? There should have been, the minute that the Joker tried to yoke the ball from the owner, should have just handed it to him. Why was there even like a little
Why was there any restraint?
Why was he like holding on to the ball?
Mine!
Who are you? Besides a billionaire.
The owner of the Suns.
I'm sure he owns a ton of teams too. Like
Sure he does.
Other leagues. I'm pretty sure.
Talk to boss Mark Laurie. See.
But the point that I'm getting at is, I say suspend the owner. Don't suspend the player. Don't suspend anybody. Let it go. It is what it is. Do we really want to see Game 5 with no Joker?
No.
The series,
the Suns do, but
I don't care. This isn't what the Suns want. This is.
Oh, come on.
He didn't punch anybody in the face. He
Well
gave
aware.
a little shove because there was some testosterone flowing, and guess who started it? Maybe Joker shouldn't even have grabbed the ball, right, to begin with. But if you go to take the ball from somebody,
What he's trying to do originally was trying to go get his player or help out the people that spilled into the crowd, right? I mean, that's the thing. But then the Suns owner's right there. He grabs the ball, kind of puts a death grip on it, and you're just like, all right, give me the ball back. And he's like, no. And then that's what
I
happens.
guarantee you, he's not allowed in Serbia anymore. That owner.
Not wrong. Not wrong. So if you had any vacations planned, sir, cancel them. But that series is too.
Is he from
I
Serbia?
have no idea. You
should know
were
that.
out of pocket on that one, and I was just like, I have no idea where he's actually from. But wherever he is, he's not welcome there anymore. But anyway, like we said, tonight, the Knicks, the Heat, back on the court. That's a big one, obviously, for obvious reasons. And the way the Knicks get back into this is clearly this. I don't think...
He is Serbian.
I nailed it, man. I don't think it's the other guy. Like Jimmy Butler can be contained. We've seen it. Look, the Miami Heat were the 8th seed for a reason, right? Yeah, they're getting hot right now. No pun, but like they're getting hot right now at the right time. Jimmy Butler's playing all world, great. But like, if you just contain him, it's those other role players that nobody's ever heard of. And obviously, if you're an NBA enthusiast, you've heard of them. But what I'm saying is, if you're a casual NBA fan and you've just tuned in for the first time, how many times, like a Jimmy Palumbo, he's probably, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who the hell is that guy? Like, I called the one guy Dan Marley. I was like, who is this guy? But like, it's just, yes. And it's not, it's good.
That's worth 3, my friend.
In regards, yes. I mean, it's going to be tough. The Knicks got to limit their shooting ability, get a hand in the face.
Over.
Julius Randle, 1 game more healthy. Same thing with Brunson. Quickly's got to show up. Obviously, we've seen a lot out of Hart, and I love what he's brought to this team. And I think from reports that I've seen over the weekend, he will be back with the Knicks next year. So job not done if they can't get it done this year. They're going to have the same guys coming in back next year, which I got to give my flowers to Sauce, our friend Kyle Kerms. He was the one to say, don't trade away these pieces. They're going to be good in a couple years. And I was Mr. Impatient. I'm like, come on, we need a championship now. We need Spider Mitchell. We need all these guys. And now I'm thinking, like, I want all of these guys, every single one of these players, I want them back next year.
It's probably the best idea to wait until they actually are good in a couple years and then trade them away, which is like probably what.
Yeah, you'll get your value and you'll probably get you'll get your star player. But
No, they'll get draft picks later on down the line.
I'm tired of draft
The
picks.
Knicks, look, as good as the Knicks are this season, championship caliber team, they are not. They need.
I think
they
you're
need
just saying that
another
as a
piece.
hater. I think
I'm
when the
saying
Knicks are on, they look pretty damn good.
I'm saying that you need, in my estimation, I don't see the Knicks as a championship team because they don't have enough pieces for them to be like the Pistons type.
Yeah, but my rebuttal to that
I didn't finish.
Okay.
They don't have a star. They don't have a guy that could light it up in the fourth
I got
quarter.
a solid rebuttal here.
Okay.
My rebuttal is, what just happened to the Milwaukee Bucks? Giannis, Drew Holiday, they got stars over there. One of those guys was MVP finalist, and they got bounced.
They got bounced in a series. But now let's count the teams left in the NBA playoffs right
Sure.
now, right?
Yeah. 8 of them.
8 of them,
Sure.
right? Who has the worst chance by far? In your like as they stand, even though the Knicks were favored going into the series, I didn't think that many people really thought.
I would assume the worst chance to win the championship. Betting odds would probably tell you that the Knicks probably have the least
And
likely
now-
to win the championship.
Now the Bucks, they were upset. That happened. But Giannis was also injured in that series, right? He missed a game, and then was probably injured thereafter
Sure.
anyway, right? So you can make that case.
Little
Their
case
coach
there.
also botched it really bad down the stretch. Like, he got fired. He won a championship 2 years ago. The man was fired, right? So they're obviously looking for the place to blame there, which I guess you could make a solid case for it because they really did chop that up. I don't think he should have been fired, but that's another story.
That was a little premature.
You look at Philly. Do the Knicks have a shot against a guy like Embiid in a series? Like, until they get somebody, either a big man or I don't want to say a guard because they have good guards, but they need another
I
guy.
think-
Randall is, if they were able to upgrade it, Randall is a good player and he's their heartbeat, you could say. But if they were able to give that contract to, think about the difference if there was a bona fide star, right, on a max, super max. If they had a player like that, then you could say, oh, the Knicks, because they have a guy that you could look at and say, this guy might be good enough to be a championship player. every team outside
But didn't Cleveland have that same thing with the signing of Donovan Mitchell or the trade for Donovan Mitchell, and then all of a sudden they're like, ooh, Cleveland could be a role player because they have Donovan Mitchell?
But no. Donovan Mitchell has yet to win a playoff series. So no. I think Donovan Mitchell was a big reason why Knicks fans were like, no, not him. Like, if we're going to do that for someone, it can't be him. It has to be an MVP caliber player. Donovan Mitchell's not going to contend for an MVP anytime soon. So, not to say you need an MVP, but you get what I'm saying. A guy that, like, you have Tatum. You look at him, a guy like Tatum, any given season, you could be like, he could be good enough to win MVP this year.
Sure.
Like, he could be the guy this year. Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Steph, LeBron.
So the Knicks don't have
the
Knicks don't have a MVP caliber
and
voter receiver.
And I'm not saying that it's impossible because there is precedent. You could even make the case that the Dirk-led Dallas team was a role team, because Dirk was a little bit
older.
But
wasn't Jason Kidd on that team too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great team. Jason Terry as
but
well.
Dirk was still considered a top 10 NBA player at the time.
But can you look at, this might be a stretch, but can you look at Brunson in being that role where he changed that team like a lot, man?
I do.
Last year, listen, the Knicks don't make the playoffs last year. They make the playoffs this year as a 5 seed because of Brunson.
And I hear that, and I agree. Brunson elevates that team tremendously. But the one thing that I'll say about Brunson, that I'll say about Barrett, that I'll say about Julius Randle is that I think they lack a certain element of athleticism or star power, or whatever you might want to say, where it's consistent on a nightly basis. Like, Jalen Brunson drops 40, and it's like, you got guys in the playoffs that are dropping 40 and 20, 30 and 20. That's what you need every night.
Not just like a...
And I'm not saying, look, this is not to bash the Knicks. The Knicks
it's not at all.
Exceeded expectations. I'm just being honest about how I feel about their championship hopes going forward. They're going to need to change things around.
I don't disagree with you.
Playoff basketball is good. Having something to cheer for and having something to build towards, that's good.
I was going to say, and they're gaining some playoff experience right now.
Prove me wrong, bro.
They did already.
It's not like I'm anybody.
They did already once.
Giving my opinion. Knicks, prove me wrong.
The Knicks could possibly do it.
If he's better than I think he is, that's the key. If he could elevate his game and be the star that they drafted him to be, he was picked. He was in the same mix with Zion and Ja.
I remember being first real bent about not getting the number 1 overall pick to get Zion, and I remember being just bummed out when they picked RJ Barrett, and I'm like, man, it's Zion's counterpart. You know what I mean? It's like, but now you can't say enough about RJ and what he's brought to the table for the playoffs. You can't. Those naysayers, the RJ naysayers, need to just go away, right? There's a lot of people that are like, oh, Julius Randle's very reckless with the ball. He is, I think. Every time he's dribbling, I feel like he's one bad dribble away from dribbling it off his own foot, right? It's just like sometimes it looks very reckless. But the guy was the leading scorer on the team for a reason, right? He still could shoot the ball. Jalen Brunson has changed his team. Josh Hart has brought in the grittiness. The Knicks are built to win this series. Can they bounce back tonight? We're going to find out. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We already talked about the Lakers tonight. They could potentially go up 3-1. So the playoffs roll on. We'll cover it as we go. But let's move on to some baseball news, only because a couple things went down over the weekend. The only thing I will say, the most shocking thing right now, is the fact that there's over $650 million allocated to the New York Mets and Yankees combined. Right now, the Mets and the Yankees combined, respectively, are like 17 games out of their first place slot. What are we looking at forecast the Mets going forward? Because right now, they're not hitting, and the guys they spent over $80 million on, $80 million of their massive payroll, are not delivering. Max Scherzer stinks all of a sudden.
I think the Mets
and Verlander is just, Verlander got shellacked in his first start. Maybe he settles in. He is the reigning, defending Cy Young. But what could they do different? Because they don't even have a good farm system, dude. I watched those guys yesterday. The Rumble Ponies,
the Mets,
not good.
They have some guys, but
not.
Look, the Mets are, I think, are a little worse situation than the Yankees, and I'll say it's based off of the competition. Right, the Braves and the Phillies are going to be really good when it's all said and done.
Yeah, but dude, that's not fair because the Yankees right now are dead last in a division where everybody's 6 games or more over 500.
Look, I don't think that the Red Sox are as good as they're playing, which they're not even playing that well.
They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're playing well.
Well, they're playing well, but what's their record this season?
They're 6 games over 500. They're 21-15. They're playing very well.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. Then, but last week they were, what were they 10 days ago?
They were Under 500.
Under 500. So in 10 days, the Yankees could be there. It's very early. I'm not saying that the Yankees are. I'm saying based off of. I think the Phillies. This is a long ass season.
It is, and it's only early May.
The Phillies and the Braves are going to win upwards of 90 games each. I don't think the Red Sox are going to win 90 games this year. That's just me, right? I don't think Baltimore is going to keep it up. I don't think Toronto has the pitching staff. Now, you could make the case that the Yankees don't have any of these things either, and they don't. But the Yankees have a bunch of guys that are hurt. Like, their entire roster is hurt.
They are
so that's
beaten up.
The only reason why I'll say it, it's like the Yankees have reinforcements, hopefully coming back throughout the course of the season. You look at the Mets, it's like, what do they have coming back? Now, granted, I have a little more of an understanding of the Yankees' injury situation than the Mets. They maybe have a bunch of guys that are out as well.
No. I'm going to tell you right now, they're healthy.
They're healthy.
They are healthy.
And Alonso's playing well. So if he's actually hitting, I don't know what he's doing this week.
Have the Mets fan base fallen into this, like, every single guy they got is great, and then it's turned out that they're not that good? Like, Starling Marte is batting .212, has 1 home run and 8 RBIs.
No. It's like these guys have been good throughout their careers, and they're starting to fall victim of the same thing that the Yankees always do, and it's different in New York. And the Mets fans, 100% going into last season, were a little ahead of themselves, right? 100% ahead of themselves. And then going into this season with the pitchers, I think that the Mets fans, the real ones or the ones in the know, kind of had some trepidation with the lineup. The lineup isn't good. It's just point blank, it's not good.
No.
I think that Lindor is underperforming big time since they signed him. And I think any Mets fans that at this point that's going to deny that is in denial, right?
They've scored 10 more runs than the Yankees right now. 10 more, and the Yankees don't have anybody.
I'm talking about the Yankees offense is the worst.
But, I mean, sometimes the Yankees are throwing a double-A roster, it looks like.
But they have some guys that they could have some reinforcements. Like Bader just got back. Judge is hurt.
Judge is coming back today.
All right, so Judge comes back. That's huge. That's the best player in baseball last year is coming back. Oh, that's important.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned with their pitching. Their lineup, I feel like, is going to eventually score.
very, very concerned that we might have gotten Carl Pavano 2.0 here. Rodon, all of a sudden.
Out to Hawaii Mike on that one.
What?
I saw that too.
I didn't see that.
So he put Carl Pavano. That was
I did not.
He posted like the update of.
Yeah, no, it's not a good idea. It's not a good situation. I did not see that. I just figured Carl Pavano haunts me, and so does Jacoby Ellsbury. But like when I look at Rodon, all of a sudden with a setback, tweaking this, tweaking that, all of a sudden he can't even commit to a July debut. We're talking 2 months down the line. You can't commit to that. I have a feeling right now. It's May 8th. We don't see him this year. I got this weird, like, gross gut feeling that Rodon does not pitch for the Yankees in 2023. That's where I'm at, because it was just like, the more you talk about this guy, the more he's like, well, you know, as soon as I could do this. And then on top of that, dude, you're going to love this. They're calling it chronic.
I know. And
chronic.
Like, but look.
You didn't know that when you took the damn physical?
They told Mike Trout that he's got a chronic back injury. Look at his numbers since
Trout's a beast.
But chronic back injury means that there's really...
It could come up and come around whenever it feels like it.
I mean, no, it means that, like, over time, this is going to be something that you're just going to have to learn to deal with, but it's not going to be debilitating.
They're going to be shooting him
over
up left
time.
and right.
It may be debilitating. He might need a surgery when his career is over, and it's going to suck.
Rough, man.
But that's being a human. It's not just being a pitcher. Like, I have chronic back pain.
You know? I got chronic every pain.
I don't do shit.
You're not a pitcher? In any event, that's baseball. Oh, one more thing. Little feisty action. What was that, dude?
I love it.
Why would you? First of all, you're a Yankee fan. How do you love it? Because it's like, why I would want to run out of my dugout and spear the man in half.
Understand how I tick.
No, I get it. You like the bat flips. I love it. I love that too. You like the pitchers when they're screaming and they're on their top. You like the flip to himself. Who was it? The shortstop. Franco. Same team. Doing the flip up and throwing it across the diamond to get him out. You like all this stuff. But then, like, your home run trot on any home run, it could be celebratory, right? You hit the ball, you're looking, yeah, and then you're pointing to the crowd and you're doing it. But to stop at third base, acknowledge the Yankees bench, and not expect to get drilled the next
I don't think he didn't expect to get drilled. I think if you
But what are you
I'll
doing?
explain
What's
how
the
this
point?
all went down. Bro.
Just
light that fire, bro. Light that fire. It adds to the competitive juices. It adds to the rivalry. When we beat them, it makes it feel so much better. Think about the Indians or the Guardians series last year when Josh Naylor hit the bomb.
Oh, when he's doing the rock the baby or whatever.
when we won that series and got the better of that
felt
team,
great.
It felt so much better. And guess what? When you lose, like I don't like sports as much if I don't have deep hatred in my heart for some of these teams and players.
Not
it's
wrong.
just like when you're rooting against somebody and it burns that much more, the stakes are higher. It's just what makes it better. When I'll explain, I'll use Connor as an analogy. Like Connor would talk so much shit going into a fight that it just adds the pressure. People can't handle it. When you have to go live, it makes what would have been a normal fight, like, oh, winner or loser, respect, they made the walk. When you talk the way you talk and you do that type of stuff, it adds such venom to the situation that it makes it better for everybody. The energy is higher. And then credit to the Rays and the Yankees because, look, the guy did what he did. You're going to pay, right? The Yankees threw at him the next at-bat.
Next 2 at-bats.
But look, let me get to the point. And the Rays didn't say a word. The umps didn't say a word.
Because they got to expect it.
After credit due. I give it to him. Cash is a real one. I like their manager a lot. He didn't say anything wrong. He just sat there and said, we knew that was coming, so we're not going to really, that's tit for tat. It is what it is. And then the next time the Yankees were up, he was up, they threw at him again. That's like saying, no, we want to fight. That was direct. We want to fight. And
they're lucky that series is over.
Yeah,
honestly,
like, what it
today
came
would
down
have
to is
spilled out.
Just to flip back to my point. The Yankees got their teeth kicked in the rest of the series, which was embarrassing. And the 6-run lead that they blew yesterday, Garrett Cole gets a cushion and blows it to the team that we just plunked their star player, who I wish Arozarena was a Yankee. If there's a guy in baseball that would look at the Bronx and New York media and say, oh, yeah, watch this, much like El Duque, that ignorance is bliss type.
You felt like that about El Duque?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I always thought he was like a silent assassin almost.
They would ask him a question. And he would just answer what he felt like saying. He didn't even, it would be, his translator would be like, yeah, I don't care what you just asked, but here's what he had to say. Right?
You're gonna love this.
Bro, I swear to you, El Duque is my favorite Yankee pitcher. CC and El Duque, bar none.
CC's another one that was just, he would bark. He would bark at you, and I love it.
Bar none, my favorite Yankee pitchers of all time.
So the Yankees got I don't want to call it this because I don't like to. It's early. They do have a get-right series coming up. Potential. The A's are in town.
So do the A's.
The A's are just the
A's have a
abomination right
series
now. Anyway, follow us, guys. Follow us over on social media. We're all over the place. TikTok.
You can fully expect to get the A's best baseball this week.
Of course you will. It's
Because
like when the
they
team's
haven't
coming to
played
the
in
Garden.
front of a fan all year.
I know.
I'd be excited.
Right? Right. They haven't played in front of anybody. Even their hometown crowd is just like, we don't really care. But anyway, you can follow us all over the social media. Be safe when you're gambling all over the Mojo app. We got baseball, basketball, football. You can invest right now, trade out the wazoo. You can do everything right now on the Mojo app. You can download that on all your Apple iPhones and, of course, your Android and you green texters out there. You're invited to the party, too. So for Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, this has been another installment of the Mojo Market Report. Back here tomorrow. Go New York. Go New York. Go. Please. Just please. Please.